everybody, welcome back to Next Play Records. I'm Andy, and today's video is going to be a shout out slash a thread that this channel that I'm shouting out has started. It was perfect timing because a couple of weeks ago I told myself I wanted to do a shout out for the YouTube channel The Jazz Bums. So if you subscribe to me, I know that you would love the discussions they have. It's three guys that are considered the Jazz Bums, and they get on there and they'll have topics and discuss with each other. They also will do one at a time videos on records that they have in their collection they want to talk about. They've recently started something called the Jazz Snack, and they'll just talk about one record each, one guy, one record. Just a really good group of fellas that love jazz. They have other genres in their collection, but they're, like me, I think their main focus and their main passion to their record collecting is the jazz music. So they created this channel, and I'm happy for it. So the Jazz Bums, you have Chris, Mike, and Felipe running that, and they'll get on also with the live streams over at Rachel's Ghost and join into the conversations there. They do live streams on Fridays here recently. I think they've done a couple of Fridays in a row where they'll let people come up there and start discussions of whatever they want. They try to keep it about the music. I hope they continue to do that, keep it about the jazz music. And I hope to get on there with them soon. Friday nights are kind of difficult for me though, because I'm usually with the family, or if I'm at home, I'm watching the Braves game, but I'll make sure to jump on there soon. Love the channel, love those guys. I'm interacting a lot with them on Facebook, on Instagram, as well as their YouTube videos. So love it. Keep it going, fellas. This is y'all's shout out. I don't have a whole lot more subscribers than you, but hopefully a few of my subscribers will find you and join in on the Jazz Bums. We are all Jazz Bums, right? Okay, so perfect timing because they started a thread called they hashtagged it Jazz Label Challenge, and they want us to show one record from each label. They want 5 labels, 5 records: Blue Note, a Riverside, a Prestige, an Impulse, and then a 5th label of your choosing. And I have a great one, and it's so great, and it's 2 records that have been very high on my want list from the same label. So I'm going to show 2 on that last one. I'm going to cheat a little bit, but let me get started. The record that I wanted to show for my Blue Note label, I wanted to make sure these are records that are fairly new to my collection, and I haven't talked about a lot, or I haven't shown. And it is Wayne Shorter's The Soothsayer. Okay, this is a lesser known session of Wayne Shorter's because it was shelved for so long and finally put out in this fashion. And also I think in Japan in 79 or 80 is when this came out, but it was recorded in 1965, and it is a fiery hard bop with a little bit of freedom and post bop mixed in. It's just so passionate, so deep and technical and unbridled. It's one of those records that I love that's not strict hard bop, that can get at times repetitive, but it's not so far out there that it loses you. This is kind of right there in the middle in that sweet spot of records like Basra, records like some of Joe Henderson's later stuff, which I'll show here in a minute, but also Sam Rivers stuff that doesn't get too out there is what I would compare this to. So I love it. 6 songs, 3 on each side, and Wayne Shorter is joined by James Spaulding, that can tell you, on the alto sax. Wayne plays the tenor, Freddie Hubbard on the trumpet, McCoy Tyner on the piano, Ron Carter on the bass, and Tony Williams on the drums. So this tells you that this is really a hard bop, post bop killer, and everybody should listen to it if you don't have it. I believe Music Matters did it with a way better cover than this, but this pressing, I wouldn't be afraid to go out and seek these. I know the covers are bad, but they really sound good. This is Blue Label with a white B here in the late 70s. 1979 Liberty pressing. Obviously probably not going to have any RVG on this, but either way it sounds terrific. I got one in great condition. So, and they had those cool blue notes for the inner label. I probably need to switch that out to something better and just keep that in the jacket. But anyway, Wayne Shorter Soothsayer is my Blue Note representative for the Jazz Label Challenge. Okay, next one, we are going to go Riverside, and this is a new one to my collection over the last couple of months. because I haven't shown a lot of new arrival videos lately. So this is going to be good for me to do that as well as join this challenge. So a record that is from the get-go of me collecting jazz that was on my want list is Thelonious Monk's Brilliant Corners. I didn't want to get some later digital reissue. I wanted to try to find something that was an early reissue or an OG, but a lot of times I don't go after the OGs for this stuff that's worth hundreds of dollars, because I just don't see the cost effectiveness of it with my budget and my how much I want to spend on records. But I found this Japanese pressing for around $30. It sounds awesome. This was pressed, I think, in 1976. Has the great black Riverside label that we all love. And I mean, the Jazz Bums did a great video recently. If you go through all their videos, and Chris was talking a lot about this one, and he talked about how it was a tough session for everybody because Monk is so technical and he knows exactly what he wants out of his sideman. And I believe even Ernie Henry ran off on the session, but luckily they had Sonny Rollins there to finish up. Max Roach on the drums, Oscar Pettiford on the bass, and obviously Monk on the piano. Awesome, classic session. And finally got it into my jazz collection and my Riverside collection. So I had to show that. So Brilliant Corners, Thelonious Monk, and I do have the Japanese Obi to go with that. Riverside. Love these Obies. They're very cool. I don't keep them on the jacket. I stick them down in there to kind of preserve them. But very nice addition to that pressing. Next label we have is Prestige. And most of y'all that love jazz know how great Analog Productions pressings and represses of these Prestige records, how great they are. And one that I wanted all along, and it was a recommendation because Davis Winchester, which is now Fred Putterman, Vinyl Community College YouTube channel, he from the get-go on these reissues when they were coming out, he said, Andy, I know you love the soul jazz, that bluesy sound. You need to get Arnett Cobb's Party Time when it comes out. And he was exactly right. I really love this. Just strict soul jazz, bluesy. Arnett Cobb just does a great job on the bluesy up-tempo songs, but also the ballads, man, are so pretty. It's got the Prestige Black and Silver Firework label. There's your jazz label challenge right there for Prestige. With Arnett Cobb on this one, you have Ray Bryant on the piano, Wendell Marshall on the bass, Ray Barretto on the conga drums, and Art Taylor on the drums. I love it. If you haven't listened to it, do it. So a lot of people are collecting all these, so I'm sure those people have gotten it, but it might be more of a little known one that people aren't listening to a lot and giving a chance. This was recorded by Rudy Van Gelder in sorry, I figured this would be easy to find. It's in the mid-50s, I believe, but we can look that up later. But my Prestige record, Party Time by Arnett Cobb, is a killer soul jazz bluesy album that you need to listen to. Impulse, one of the other big four. Obviously, they pick the big four and then you pick another one on your own. But, you know, Columbia has awesome jazz music, which I didn't pick a Columbia. There's Miles Davis Nefertiti. Contemporary, I've got you Art Pepper Meets the Rhythm section. That's the mono RSD. And then down below it, we got Double Play, which I had to get that. And I'll show that in a video coming up. But jazz and baseball theme, love it. But also, there's another Columbia and old Oscar Peterson. But anyway, for my Impulse, I have the classic OG Mono A50 Coltrane live at Birdland. I think this is probably one of the best live albums on Impulse. Coltrane kills it. Plays the soprano sax a lot on here. He's got John Coltrane, McCoy Tyner, Jimmy Garrison, and Elvin Jones. Great lineup. Nice gatefolds. Got some pictures of the live performance. Nice write-up. Some quotes from Coltrane on there. Great write-up of every song is on there. Just this is one of the only Impulse OGs that I have, and especially a killer like this that's valuable and in decent condition. So happy to show this. I've had this one for a while, but this is the best Impulse I think that I have. Not my favorite session on Impulse, but my best record because of it being an OG in such good condition and it being Coltrane. So Coltrane live at Birdland is my Impulse representative. And now the last label, the fifth label. I'm going with a label that doesn't get reissued enough. That was a short-lived label, but some killer titles, and most of them came from this guy, in my opinion. So I got this OG on Milestone Records of Joe Henderson Quintet at the Lighthouse. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And this record, you can tell by the title, by the way they're playing, he's making a statement, man. And Joe Henderson here in the late 60s and early 70s that you're about to see the late 60s represented. But I think this one's 1970 live performance at the Lighthouse with Woody Shaw on trumpet and flugelhorn, George Cables on the electric piano, Ron McClure on the bass, Lenny White on the drums, and also Tony. It might be a first repress, but that's one of the beautiful Milestone labels from 1970. This is actually the late 1960s, 70s label. So Milestone, Joe Henderson, live at the Lighthouse. Next one, I have to show another one. Sorry, guys, but this was my ultimate Milestone Grail, my ultimate Joe Henderson Milestone record that I wanted. It's been on my want list for so long. My brothers have been looking for it for me. I've even discussed it with a couple of other VC members. If they ever see it, let me know. I found it. Joe Henderson Quartets Tetragon on Milestone. It's Milestone 9017 in stereo. Classic cover. Like I told my brother, I've been staring at this record through the phone screen and computer screen for too long from afar. Finally got it. Made a really low offer on a Discogs listing, and he accepted it immediately. So happy about that. But Joe Henderson plays with Don Friedman or Kenny Barron. So it's a quartet on one side and a quartet on the other side. So you got Don Friedman, Ron Carter, and Joe Henderson are on both sides. So Joe Henderson, Ron Carter, Don Friedman on the piano, Jack DeJohnette on the drums. And the other side, you have Kenny Barron on the piano and Louis Hayes on the drums. Produced by Orrin Keepnews. And one of the coolest things about this is the backside is a interview. Rather than having liner notes, typical liner notes about each song, Orrin Keepnews, who's the producer of this Milestone record, interviews Joe Henderson, and his thoughts that's going through are so cool. There's one place about it that reminded me so much of how, and something I've always talked about with jazz music is how these guys get together, and it's like they're playing a game. I always relate it to a team in sports, and the way they bounce back and forth, they learn from each other, they trust the abilities of the other guy, and there was a couple of quotes on here that I'll bring up because I'm going to show this on my new arrivals video, and I'll talk a little bit more in depth about it. But I made sure that I pulled this Milestone killer for the Jazz Label Challenge for the Jazz Bums. So y'all make sure you check out these Milestone releases from Joe Henderson. I now have probably 6 of them, but those last 2 were ones that I've been wanting for a long time. So happy to get those. But check out the Jazz Bums. Join in on this Jazz Label Challenge. And make sure you watch their video. Make sure you do it the way they wanted. But those top 4 labels and then pick the 5th one on your own was the plan. And I sure hope that y'all will subscribe to the Jazz Bums. Like and subscribe my channel if you haven't. And we'll keep at least a video a week coming up. So look for that this weekend or next week. And until next time, y'all keep spinning that next play.